We've been going through the Achilles heels of every single playoff team from a year ago, and we moved on to some of the divisional round exits. Starting off with your Baltimore Ravens, who seemingly have never been short of an Achilles heel. They seemingly find one every single year in the playoffs. Kyle, will it be different this time, or do they have a glaring one that you see?
Well, glaring Achilles heel for any Baltimore Ravens fan is the fact that they have that accent. I just can't do the accent. It's brutal, in my opinion. Honestly, look,
Go.
I feel terrible for Ravens fans because you gotta pound the table every year for whatever reason for a quarterback who is outstanding in his field. People don't give him the respect. People don't give the team respect. But look, you got to look around this locker room and say it's different this year, right? I mean, we're even better than we were defensively, and Lamar and Derek have another year under their belt together, and we know the mistakes. This feels like the same conversation I had last year with myself about the Baltimore Ravens, and nobody wants to see somebody get a Lombardi Trophy like I want to see Lamar Jackson get a Lombardi Trophy. Trust me, I love watching this guy play. I think he deserves it. But as a Ravens fan, you can only help but think, well, we're going to get another MVP caliber performance out of our quarterback with an early exit in the playoffs. And it's just a damn shame because they've done such a good job constructing that roster, putting together a two-sided approach. That's really my Achilles heel is like this is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, we changed it last year. We brought Derrick Henry in, and it didn't work. One of their biggest players failed to convert on a season-ending play down there in the corner of the end zone. It's brutal to watch. I'm excited to watch Lamar Jackson be on fire again this season. That's just the way he rolls.
Yeah, their Achilles heel, I mean, it kind of feels like what we talked about with Philly. There's not an Achilles heel. There's not a unit that you look at and say they're below average. Honestly, there's not really any units you look at and even say they're like even just slightly above average. Like every single unit on this roster is stacked. They're stacked. They might be the most talented team in the NFL right now. Is after adding Jair Alexander to the secondary, what they did maintaining this offseason, there's just not a lot of holes. And you have the top end with the MVP caliber quarterback and the borderline MVP caliber running back too with Derrick Henry. So they just have everything that you could possibly want. And to me, that's the Achilles heel, is that it's the highest of expectations. Expectations have been high. They've been one of the most successful teams of the past half decade, the Lamar Jackson era there. Every single season, it's the same. They are one of the best teams in the NFL. But all of a sudden it doesn't come playoff time. So that to me is the Achilles heel, is that they are going to go 13-4. They're going to go 14-3. They're not going to lose a lot of regular season games, this team. But then come divisional round, everyone and their mother is going to be talking about the fact that the Ravens do this every year. That's just it. They're going to be talking about how do the Ravens pee down their leg once again. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. All right, let's
It's
get to the
gotta
ones.
be tough what's harder, being a Ravens fan or being like a Jets fan?
Ooh, I mean Jets, dude. Let's be real. Ravens have a Super Bowl, a couple in the past 30 years. If you're an adult, you've actually seen them be good. Jets, you just have to wallow in the misery. All right, let's get to the
Okay.
Detroit Lions, who know a thing or two about that misery. Unfortunately, now they're not. Unfortunately, fortunately, now they do not. They are back atop the heap in the NFL, but they lost their OC and DC. So going into this year with bringing much of that talent back, what's their Achilles heel?
Well, they've still got the Johnnies and the Joes opposite those X's and O's, and people always wonder what's more important. Well, we're going to find out this year. One thing I don't doubt is that the people they have in place at both coordinator spots, filling the shoes of some giants that came before them, they're going to have some good game plans that they put out there. My question, and I think that this will be the Achilles heel, is the Detroit Lions offensive and defensive coordinators' ability to have halftime adjustments this year. One of the hallmarks of a fantastic coaching staff, great head coach, and somebody who delegates to the people underneath of him is the ability to adjust at halftime. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and every defensive coordinator out there knows how to punch some of these offenses in the mouth. So can you adjust? That's what I have for the Detroit Lions, and the obvious, can they still stay healthy? The lack of health at the end of the year is what cost them a Super Bowl run. I anticipate they're still dealing with a ton of those injuries on the rehab side of things, and obviously there's more injuries to come, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do think that the injuries obviously their Achilles heel last year. It was, the defense was completely decimated, and you're still honestly dealing with some of the effects. I know Aiden Hutchins has been getting rave reviews from training camp, but it was a major injury that he suffered. Aleem McNeil still coming back from the ACL tear. No news or no clue about how good he'll be once the lights are on the regular season, but it just has to revolve around the coaching staff. You can't lose guys as coveted, as praised, as good at their jobs as Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn were, and just think that you'll be able to backfill him. Especially on the offensive side of the ball for me. I mean, Kelvin Shepard has been there in Detroit. He's, the Aaron Glenn playbook was not anything unique in terms of what they were doing schematically. It was more of a culture thing that he brought to the table there, Aaron Glenn, for that defense, why they performed so well. That may be able to stay intact. It's the offense I'm worried about, because you replaced Ben Johnson, one of the best play callers in the modern NFL, with a guy who was last offensive coordinator for the 2017 Jets. And I don't know about you, but the 2017 Jets averaged under 20 points per game. It was not a pinnacle of offensive efficiency, obviously nowhere near the talent that this Detroit Lions team has. But I think that's the worry, is that Ben Johnson's game planning was special. It was unique across the NFL. You have lost that. How do you replace it? Because the talent's great there. The talent is not hands down going to win, going to put up 30 points per game no matter who's calling plays, sort of talent, in my opinion.
There's a certain belief level and effort level that comes along with having a coach who beyond the shadow of a doubt is brilliant. And when you go out there and you put your grass to the cleats, what you installed in the classroom and the days before, and you really believe in something, you find a way to get supremely focused. I would imagine that while there's still a great culture in Detroit and they're still going to be working hard in a tough group, they're going to go for it on fourth down. There's going to be a bit of doubt that creeps in to some of these guys' minds when things may not work out on a third down, as they do for any offense, But you have to think that they might be looking backwards a little bit at Ben Johnson throughout the course of this year, particularly on the offensive side of the ball.
To steelman the Lions case, though, they not only are uber talented, right? We talked about how good this roster is that Brad Holmes put together. They're so young still. I mean, they've put together a good roster that should be getting better feasibly. Like guys who are, a vast majority of their impact guys are within their first 5 years in the league, like where you're still improving as a player, where you still can get better. And especially in the secondary, where it's pretty much all those guys. And oh, by the way, they had a DJ Reed, who's a shutdown corner zone, right? So it's Terran Arnold, who could get better. It's Brian Branch, who could still be getting better. Kirby Joseph, and those guys are all pros already. So I do think there's a world where this Lions team is actually more talented. It actually performs better. Maybe they don't have the schematic advantages that they had last year, but this could very easily still be the 1 seed in the NFC when it's all said and done.